about Prince.
Man, Prince had it coming. The devil came and collected, period.
Prince had it coming, the devil came and collected. What was he collecting?
His nigga, what he signed? What did they sign over?
Oh, so you're saying that Prince signed a
I'm
deal?
not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm telling you facts.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I'm telling you facts. I'm telling you straight.
Do what we want.
What's their problem? They're still alive.
And then we thought, who's good at killing celebrities?
Me!
That's right. Homer, would you be willing to acquire some more, accounts for us?
Everybody comes over the house, especially white folks, because they need to hear that, you know, so that they know more about all of us. Mm-hmm. Because what he said, he said something that really hit home about this phenomenon of chemtrails. And when I was a kid, I used to see these tails in the sky all the time, and so let's go, Atlantis, whatever. And started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing, and you didn't know why. Okay, and you really didn't know why. I mean, everybody was fighting. So he started riffing about the chemtrails, and he started to say things that hit home so hard, and I would recommend that everybody try to get what he said online or wherever, and try to get a copy of it and just listen to it, because I was so moved that I had to write the song. The other thing is the first line of the song says, I was born on the same plantation in the United States of the red, white, and blue. And we live in a place now that feels just about like a plantation. We're all indentured servants. You know, when I found out there were 8 presidents before George Washington, I wanted to smack somebody. You know, I wanted to know why I was taught otherwise. Just tell me the whole story. You fill in the blanks, but don't, you know, don't tell me something that you think I'm supposed to know.
We're indentured servants and we got a black president now?
Well, I don't vote. I have nothing to do with it. I got no dog in that race.
And for those who would cuss me out and slap me in person if I didn't ask you why?
Well, the reason why is because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we've never voted. And that's not to say that I don't think Barack Obama, President Obama, is a very smart individual, and he seems like he means well. Prophecy is what we all have to go by now. It's very interesting. I did a sold-out concert in London. We played 21 nights in a row, and all the concerts were sold out. When I would watch television over there, and you'd see the United Nations feed, the direct feed from the United Nations, you'd hear them talk a lot about religion. You'd hear the Bible mentioned constantly. This is not what we're used to in the United States. It's almost as though there's no need for God and no need for religion and justice in politics. So there's supposed to be a separation of church and state over here. We can't have a separation of state and morality, though. And, you know, songs like Dreamer and even Feel Good, it's the same thing.
I got good news and bad news. The bad news first, since I ended on good news. The bad news is I'm out of time for this show. The good news is I think that if I lean on my friendship, I might be able to get Prince to stick around for like another 12 minutes. And if you tune into this program tomorrow night, we can finish our conversation. It's never over, but we'll continue it, talking about these other 3 songs from the new CD, Lotus Flower, at lotusflower.com. You can get, I want to ask you about these other 3 songs tomorrow night, and then this fine artist who he referenced earlier, you can take fine any way you want to take it. This fine artist he referenced
tell you that he was found dead on the floor of his Paisley Park recording studio. And here you can see I'm scanning in pictures of the studio, which was quite magnificent, excuse me. So what happened, some of you might say? Now, there was, a dark side to Prince, and my question is, was the elite behind this? There are certain things I'm going to show you, mitigating factors that lead me to believe that they were indeed behind this. Prince started out wanting to play basketball, but because of his height, he was not considered a good candidate for the game, although he did play a few games at his Bryant High School. As he got into the industry in the earlier years, he began to adopt the all-seeing eye persona, which is so prevalent in the industry among the mind control slaves. And as time went on, you'll notice that, he continued to appear publicly with this representation. And because he didn't speak much about his personal choices, he left it to people to conclude what might have been going on. Now, along with this came symbolism. Many of you remember this symbol, which he was very fond of, and he actually began to, he gave it a name to himself. He made it his name, and it was an unpronounceable symbol. He also did a lot of things, maybe some for shock value, but I also believe that he was manipulated behind the scenes for a lot of the more controversial stuff that he did early in his career. And in this picture, you can actually see that he had sunglasses made with the all-seeing eye symbol as it's placed accurately on his forehead to symbolize his allegiance to that. And then there were other things that were surrounding him that were also pretty questionable. He married Mayte Garcia, and the baby they had mysteriously died within a few days after it was born. And there was never any explanation behind that. The oddest thing, I guess, about this is that his former protege, Vanity, just died this year at the same age, 57. He was 57 and she was 57, and they died within months of each other. Where am I going with all this? Well, there were things that over the years, Prince, as many of you know, and those of you who don't know, he was on Warner Brothers Records. And as I had told you in my book, Satan's Children, Warner Brothers has a long Illuminati satanic cult-like history. The Warner Brothers lot in Los Angeles, a lot of the new actors were made to run around naked for the amusement of the old farts who run the studios there. And this lot has the audacity to have Bugs Bunny and all of these childlike characters blown up so that tourists can go by and think, oh, this is a fun place. But it's not a fun place behind the doors. When you get to the inner sanctum of the Warner lots, you can see that, those of you who've been invited and those who have knowledge of this, that there is a lot of stuff going on that is not right and is certainly not professional. So he had a long battle with Warner Brothers. He wound up losing his catalog. And the thing that really, beyond that, in the battle with Warner Brothers, there was this period where he had slave written on his cheek to emphasize what he felt like being under the Warner Brothers jurisdiction, where they held his catalog and they actually claimed ownership to it. And he began acting out in dismay regarding this. Now, the odd thing about it was that on April 18th of 2014, he re-entered after leaving Warner Brothers. Well, let me back up a little bit. He left Warner Brothers during the slave period, and he became independent, and he was doing everything through the net. However, on April 18th of 2014, he went into an unprecedented agreement with Warner Brothers. And here you see Sheila E., who was one of his proteges as well. She was on stage with him. However, he resumed this contract with Warner Brothers, and he was able to get back the rights to his catalog. Now here we have, in this time span, it's now April 21st, so they were off a couple of days, but you know, the elite like anniversaries. So here, almost 2 years to the day of him regaining his catalog, he's dead. And I believe that this was the intention, was to actually have it commemorate on the 18th. But because people might make the connection, they figured, well, you know what? It's in the same month. It's still good. And like Vanity, towards the end of his life, Prince had begun to get very spiritual. He joined the Jehovah's Witness, and he became an advocate of their cause, and you know, he was praising Jehovah and going about. But my experience with the Jehovah's Witness is that they're pretty cult-like, because I had two sisters who were in it, and they actually didn't speak to me because they said that Jehovah said they couldn't be unevenly yoked. So, and this was because I was in the music entertainment business, so I don't understand that at all. But I'm going to show you some clips of some things that Prince had exposed regarding the elite. And then I'm going to just leave it to you to make your own assessment of what really happened. And I'll close it out with one of his more memorable performances. But that's what I think. I think that the heat in the kitchen got hot, and it caused a fire.
Phenomena
Rest in
of
peace.
chemtrails. And you know, when I was a kid, he was fighting. I had to write the song. So the other thing is, the first line of the song says, "I was born."
If I didn't ask you why.
Well, the reason why is because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we've never voted. And that's not to say that I don't think Barack Obama, President Obama, is a very smart individual, and he seems like he means well. Prophecy is what we all have to go by now. It's very interesting. I did a sold-out concert in London. We played 21 nights in a row, and all the concerts were sold out. When I would watch television over there, and you'd see the United Nations feed, the direct feed from the United Nations, you'd hear them talk a lot about religion. You'd hear the Bible mentioned constantly. This is not what we're used to in the United States. It's almost as though there's no need for God and no need for religion and justice in politics. So there's supposed to be a separation of church and state over here. We can't have a separation of state and morality.
The press will get to the point where we'll just all it'll be a law where you have to tell the truth. It won't be about speculation. You know, I'm a musician. I live for that. I live for playing and creating